All right. Good evening, everyone. Usual Saturday masterclass session. As I said, namaskar to each and every one of you. It is a very interesting week ahead. The kind of move that we got yesterday will definitely kind of baffle everyone. But as I always suggest, let's always look at the market, analyze, try to understand the market from a top-down approach. Nifty, Bank Nifty sectors, and then we can come down to the high probable stocks which are likely to give us a move next week. So let's start with the Nifty. I have the weekly on my left, daily on the middle, and 125 on the rightmost chart. I've purposely kept the 125 because the extent of the move that we saw yesterday is actually enormous from a single day's point of view. So let's start. Weekly, we are still fairly in a downtrend after this sell-off. We've had a 3-week kind of a bounce back. Momentum indicators have just started to improve, which is of course the case because prices have improved. Looking at just the weekly chart, if we look at just the weekly chart, सिर्फ अगर weekly chart को ही देखें, तो as of now it is just a bounce back after the fall. हमारा ट्रेंड इंडिकेटर अभी तक पूरी तरह से रिवर्स हुआ नहीं है. मोमेंटम इंडिकेटर्स पूरी तरह से कंफर्म्ड अप मूव दिया नहीं है. नाइदर ऑफ देम हैव कंफर्म्ड येट. एंड जो सबसे पहले होता है, a bit of improvement from the Heikin-Ashi, a positive Heikin-Ashi without a lower shadow. यार वो भी नहीं है. So there's nothing on my weekly chart based on which I can at least claim the weekly downtrend has reversed or has shown enough strength. ऐसा तो है नहीं. जब तक ऐसा है नहीं, जो दिखता है based on that, we should consider this as a bounce back as of now. So if, big if, bold capital if the market is due for another leg of correction, if अगर ऐसा कुछ होता है, तो हमें सबसे पहले कब पता चलेगा? When should we kind of ring the bell? I would say जो भी week खत्म हो रहा है आपके पीछे, whichever week is getting over behind you, just consider the low of that week, because if the market has to fall, अपना previous week के low को तो तोड़ेगा ना. And I'm talking from a weekly point of view. So as long as my last week's low is intact, and I would consider that okay, market is trying to reverse the trend. ये रहा weekly analysis. However, when we come to the daily time frame, things looks much prettier, of course, because now the trend has reversed in 1, 2, 3. The momentum indicators definitely has improved. We have seen some decent improvement from the banking and the finance pack. And last week, I think it was last week, we did draw these two, create these two range of prospective resistances जहाँ पे market आके थम सकता है, रुक सकता है. And clearly the first one, which is 24,700 to 24,900, यहाँ पे उसने respect किया है. So this is a confirmed resistance, no problem. So first and foremost important thing for the bulls is to take away this. From a bullish point of view, पहला काम ये होगा कि आप ये रेंज को निकालो, ऊपर की तरफ सस्टेन करो, फिर जाके आप 25,300, 25,500 की तरफ अटेम्प्ट लेना. What is the logic of 24,700, 900 and 25,300, 500? ये हम लोग ने एक हफ्ते पहले जो सैटरडे सेशन था वहाँ पे we have discussed this based on volume profile, polarity, etc. etc. So daily has improved. Daily was consolidating, and here comes the drama. Something exceptional happened yesterday. See, when the market was consolidating for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, यहाँ तक it was looking like a good consolidation after the move, which can give us a breakout or it can give us a slowdown and a correction, जिसके लिए हम लोग ने बोल रखा था that the previous breakout levels पे support मिल सकता है, etc. etc. अब सब कुछ हो गया एक दिन में. We had a weak opening yesterday. We had a sharp fall all the way down till 24,200. And at this point, everything was looking down, out, very, very weak. ये market तो फिर से वापस आ रहा है. And by the time it was afternoon and the market closed above at 24,830. This is the futures rate. अब इसको, this daily Heiken-Ashi को क्या समझे? What should we consider this? If the market is strong, फिर ये इतना नीचे selling हुआ क्यों? Or if the market is really weak and if this is just a A, B, C and I will see another move down, फिर कैसे across the board buying होके ये वापस फिर से आ गया? When it comes to charts and technical analysis, the two main factors are demand and supply. We are not going to talk about some other macroeconomic parameters right now. We are just trying to understand what the price is trying to do, and the price has done everything yesterday. Extreme bearishness, extreme strength, and the closing is important. It closed at the highest point of the day. It closed at the highest point of the day. So it's like कि सुबह का भूला शाम को घर आ जाए तो उसको भूला नहीं कहते. It's something like that. कि थर्सडे को जहाँ बंद हुआ था, शुक्रवार बहुत घूम घाम के वापस वहीं पे आ गए, या फिर उससे थोड़ा सा बेहतर. Okay, now all these muhavras can come later. In terms of the market analysis and the way we should look at it is yet to give us this breakout. And I think it should give us the breakout. And in that case, हमारा anchored VWAP 25,000 के पास आ रहा है. It's a psychological round number. We should pay respect to 25K. And of course, we have the 25,300, 25,500 prepared. So if we see a follow-through move on Monday, Tuesday, and the market looks, most of the time it's bullish, then we can expect 25K, which is not too far. 170 point ही तो दूर है. And उसके बाद 25,300. So we will go back to looking for longs. And that's exactly what we were doing. If we see the nature of the trades that we have picked up over the last couple of weeks, most of them were longs. We did find some short, but most of them were longs. So we will continue that way. And what it has also done, it has created a very deep level on the downside. ये थोड़ा सा मुश्किल है for someone who would like to go short. सोचिए, if my view is bearish और मुझे लगता है ये सब टिकने वाला है नहीं, this is not going to last and the market is going to crack. If my view is bearish, अगर मुझे लगता है नहीं यार ये ABC निकलेगा से, and I can tell myself inflation, I can tell myself dollar index, I can tell myself Fed not going to cut rate, बहुत कुछ biased opinions निकल आ सकता है that the market will fall. That's okay. That's not a problem. The problem is if I expect the market to fall, मैं किस level के नीचे बेचूं? Because what the market has done is it's taken a deep dive yesterday, created a level close to 24,200. देखिए, जब हम लोग Thursday पे थे, then someone can say, चलिए इस हफ्ते का जो लो तोड़ देगा तो उसके नीचे weakness समझ में आता है, because I have closed here, my trigger on the downside is here. Makes sense, ठीक है. But I have closed here and my trigger for downside is down here. 600 point नीचे. It just doesn't make sense from a short-term trading point of view. From an analysis point of view, from a view कि हाँ 24,200 के नीचे bearishness will come in and etc. ठीक है, मैंने बोल दिया, आपने सुन लिया, या vice versa. लेकिन सौदा करने के लिए to take a trade on the Nifty, I am now at 24,800. I want to sell at below 24,200. Just doesn't make sense of a 630 point stop loss of a range. So if you have a bearish view, sit quiet. Sit quiet. If the market fails to go above, it will consolidate. It will probably create some range. It will define some kind of a consolidation, and then we may or may not get a breakdown. So looking at yesterday's move, looking at the way it closed, it is generally bullish bias. We will maintain that next week unless proven wrong. Full stop. Nifty analysis taken care of. Small cap and mid cap, which moved up like a vertical move, parabolic rocket, has given us a bit of a sign of momentum slowdown. Now, if you take a look at the weekly chart, this is the small cap, which is the most, should I say, which gave the most strong rally, if I manage to draw something like this, then we can say it's forming a broadening formation. ये अपना previous high तोड़ता भी है, breakout failure भी होता है, previous low को तोड़ता भी है और breakdown failure भी होता है. Which means for any kind of a breakout trader, this would have been murderous on the weekly chart. So does it mean that if next week it breaks above this high, will it fall? Broadening formation generally यही indicate करता है. So honestly, it's not a very smart thing to look for long trades here. अगर हम bullish है next week के लिए, at the beginning of next week, we should not be looking at small caps and mid caps, to be honest. We should be looking at Nifty 50 large cap stocks, जहाँ से वो move आ सकता है. Now, after yesterday's move, it has given us a red icon, which is a sign of slight price weakness. 125-minute time frame has given you a bounce back. So yes, it can come off a little bit. It's all right even if it comes off a little bit. It's very natural that it retests these fractal lows. So हो सकता है. It is possible that if next week we see some bullish movement from the Nifty, it is highly possible that that bullish bias is getting supported by few large cap Nifty 50 heavyweight stocks जहाँ पे broader market थोड़ा सा पीछे है, थोड़ा सा consolidate हो रहा है. It is possible. We are just creating possibilities based on what we see. Same goes for the mid cap. Of course, we will start our sectoral analysis with the banks and the financials. So Bank Nifty is far better placed. Don't you think so? If you take a look at the Bank Nifty weekly chart, it is not too far from its all-time high. If we go by the trend and the momentum indicators, they have kind of synced on the positive side. So we have been repetitive in this in our weekly meetings कि banks पे हम positive है and we will maintain that. खाली problem ये होगा कि अगर मैं Bank Nifty खरीदने जाऊँ तो if I buy above this kind of a stop loss just doesn't make sense. So Bank Nifty is bullish. A good thing to see is yesterday when it fell close to that 52,400, that is where the polarity kicks in. तो हमेशा ये एक अच्छी चीज़ है. It actually gives you a good feeling that polarity has kicked in. मतलब जो previous resistance हुए करते थे वो अब support का काम कर चुका है. It has acted as a source of support. It means we are headed for new highs. 9 out of 10 times it's happening. We are going to see a breakout above 54,000. So Bank Nifty is predominantly positive. All right. CNX Finance will kind of give us a similar kind of a view. No problem. Now, what is the situation of the private sector banks and the PSU banks? Now, the private sector banks are not as close to its all-time highs. We are just getting a sink on the weekly and a decent sink on the daily. And what we like to call this, you know what we like to call this? We like to call this a thunder long setup. लेने लायक है नहीं because of the size of the candle. All the bars will shoot outside the 2 standard deviation on our range indicator. But it's a bullish chart. It looks like a bullish chart. What about the PSU bank? If we take a look at the PSU bank, which is a relative underperformer over the last 3 months, has started to improve the weekly, has started to improve the daily. खाली इसमें प्रॉब्लम यही है that of late it has been giving us sharp retracement. मतलब जितना लास्ट लेग में ऊपर गया था, it had retraced 100% of it. उसके बाद this is the next leg of move up and we have just started to retrace. अब क्या पता ये कितना retrace हो. If we zoom into the daily time frame, Heiken has turned negative. Short-term momentum is just weakening. It's not a very good looking thunder setup because of the Heiken. So ये उतना अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है जितना कि आपका निफ्टी प्राइवेट बैंक इंडेक्स लग रहा है. So if we are bullish on the banks and the financials, we should first take a look at the private banking pocket and few financials like Bajaj Finserv, Bajaj Finance, etc. ठीक है, ये हो गया the most important sector. Second most important sector, IT. Now IT has been very kind to us in the sense that इसमें ज़्यादा दिमाग लगाने का कोई ज़रूरत ही नहीं था for the last a month or so. Nice sync on the weekly, decent sync on the daily. It had given us some short-term corrections. It has gone up. Now, is it enough? Will it slow down here or not? That is the question. I don't have any signs of divergences on the daily or the weekly As of now कोई confirmed sign तो है नहीं. Then why predict such a possibility? Ride the trend. Yes, there is a bit of a bulge shaping up. By bulge I mean हमारा T1 T2 का जो difference है, it tends to expand. When it tends to expand, it tells me that prices have shot away from its average. अपने average से थोड़ा सा दूर जा चुका है. And then the reversion to mean should kick in. मतलब ये mean के पास आएगा. मतलब एक छोटा सा consolidation या फिर एक छोटा सा correction. If it comes, you should not be surprised. Neither should you be looking to buy IT stock after a one-way rally like this. If you're a short-term momentum trader, not a very good time to buy IT. But overall, bullish. Don't go bearish on the IT stocks at this juncture. Moving on to auto and after that energy. Now, auto is struggling. And almost this RSI or short-term RSI value is almost knocking the door of 50. Which means, sir, it looks like a very good thunder shot. I agree with you. Those who trade the weekly time frames can look for a shorting opportunity from the weekly chart amongst the auto names if you want to. What it is doing is it's just consolidating after this bulge. So it has created a range for itself. Oh, wait, sir, ये तो left shoulder है, head है और ये right shoulder है. हाँ, हो सकता है. अब लेफ्ट शोल्डर इतना सुंदर है, राइट शोल्डर का जो राइट पार्ट है वो थोड़ा सा स्ट्रेच्ड है, सो कुछ भी हो सकता है. आई एम नॉट अ वेरी बिग फैन और फॉलोअर ऑफ पैटर्न्स. आई अंडरस्टैंड देम अ लिटिल बिट बट आई डू नॉट ट्रेड देम. बट इट्स नॉट लुकिंग दैट गुड ऑन द वीकली. डेली ने अपना मोमेंटम को यहाँ पे और यहाँ पे इंप्रूव किया था. द लास्ट टाइम इट इंप्रूव्ड वाज हियर. यहाँ से यहाँ तक इट वेंट एज अ स्लांट डाइवर्जेंस. मतलब momentum improved, price did not improve. This time the price improved, but then it has gone through a bit of a correction. So overall, it's better that we wait, and the view is bearish. It's not a very bullish chart. If we get that 24,000 breakout on the upside, and if it sustains, then yes, it will start to look good. Then we might start looking at those two-wheelers and even the four-wheelers like Tata Motors. Energy, on the other hand, is again not that great. On the daily, also not that great. I think we discussed this, that energy has created a bit of a contra behavior up here, and so it has kind of come off and it looks weak. Short, maybe it's a little too late. Long का कोई rationally नहीं है chart पे, so it's better to avoid the energy pack right now. FMCG and consumer durables saw the first weakness this week, last week. And the FMCG index, CNX FMCG, have come very close to the previous low. Now this raised eyebrows, because are we looking at a double bottom formation? ये तो हमें 59,000 के ऊपर ही पता चलेगा. Are we looking for further downside on the FMCG towards 53,000, close to these lows? ये तभी पता चलेगा if we see a breakdown and a sustained breakdown. As of now, weekly charts are weak. As of now, daily charts, it was just improving, now it has kind of fizzled away. So better to stay away, wait for proper formations to take shape. If you're a short-term trader, I would definitely suggest you to wait. There are no strong signs coming from the CNX FMCG right now. Metal. Now this can be an interesting one because on the weekly, it's range bound. On the weekly, it has given you a bounce back wherein the T1, T2 are still, our trend indicators are still mostly negative. And it is following us, it gives us it falls in the category of thunder short. But it's not a short yet. So if the daily chart fails to go further up, if हमें टाटा स्टील हिंडाल्को दिखता है कि फ्राइडे का लो तोड़ देता है, then metals can definitely see a retest of these lows. What about the other side? In the other side, what I see is a pretty good move on the from the daily time frame, but it will take some time. The important thing for metals is this breakout. So keep an eye on the stocks, on those stocks, those metal stocks, wherein daily sink is there, and the daily is giving you a correction, or in other words, quote unquote, कहाँ पे आपको thunder long मिल रहा है? Those are your ideal candidate if the metals turn around on the upside. Okay, pharma. This can be a little bit of a struggle. And आपने ये कल notice भी किया होगा. Yesterday we were looking at DV's lab on the short side. Did you notice that DV's lab did not move a single inch after falling in the first hour. Has anyone observed that? In our yesterday's morning session, we identified the stock, we did the risk management calculations, and it seemed like, okay, it looks good, it can fall. It did fall in the first couple of hours. But towards the later half, when all the stocks, all the sectors were bouncing back, you should have noticed that DV slab did not even go up at all. In fact, it was there and a little bit on the downside. So if I now come to CNX Pharma, which has moved into a downtrend, momentum is down and it's giving me a thunder shot, any kind of a fall below last week's low, 21,800 on the daily, you're looking for some weakness. And DV slab can be one of them because we identified it. Other stocks like Dr. Reddy and the others may be showing strength, but the most important stock when it comes to pharma, the first thing that you should check is Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy, DV slab in that order. So not that great. Pharma, not that great. So अगर आपको दिखता है कि that the entire market is divided and there is a pocket of market which is up and there's a pocket of market which is down, and in that down pocket if you see pharma, then you should not be surprised because ये chart उतना strong है ही नहीं. And then finally coming to reality, not bad. Not bad because after the first leg move, which was sharp, quick consolidation, equally sharp move. So it has kind of retraced quite a bit of a ground in a very small span of time. And also one of those charts on the weekly, which are looking encouraging. It looks like it can scale up to an all-time high. जो Bank Nifty एक feeling दे रहा है. It's not an FMCG. If it's not an energy. So it's very close to, not very close, but not too far away from its all-time highs also. So yes, if it comes down and consolidates, we may look for pullback long trades, especially a stock like Oberoi Realty. Generally, मैं FMCG and consumer durables को एक साथ ही लेता हूँ. Now, consumer durables has given a phenomenal bounce back. Now, this is more than a bounce back. I started today's talk by talking about the Nifty, and the Nifty weekly is not giving us any strong signs that I should come out of the statement of bounce back. कि यार ये bounce back नहीं, bounce back से काफी ज़्यादा है. Consumer durables has clearly given us 3 back-to-back positive high-ins. The consumer durables weekly charts, momentum and trend has definitely gone in sync. So इसको bounce back बोलना गलत होगा. This is a proper rally. And on the daily time frame, it did give us an opportunity. A stock like Dixon has played a very good important role. Your Havells is also there, and of course Titan. Right now, we should not do anything. Definitely not. Too late to go long, too early to go short. In fact, there's no reason, technical reason to go short. So wait up. View bias is on the long side, right? So as we walk through Nifty, Bank Nifty and the various sectors, it seems to me that the Nifty will try its best to scale above that psychological 25K. But I don't think it will be across the board. Maybe the small and mid cap might slow down and we can see some movement from the large cap. It can be anything, honestly. आपने देखा होगा last week, there were days where कोई theme ही नहीं है market में. कुछ ये चलता है तो वो गिरता है तो ये चलता है. So it can be all over the place. We will maintain the same strategy. We will look for proper setups on any sector, on any stock within the F&O universe, preferably a good liquid counter, and we will go with the setup. If that chart happens to be from a sector which is outperforming and we have a long trade, तो बढ़िया है. और अगर नहीं है, doesn't matter. We are anyways going to go with that. ठीक है? So that's the call on the Nifty, Bank Nifty, rest of the sectors, overall market. Last, the fact that we had a huge range expansion yesterday, Friday, at the early stage of next week, maybe Monday, Tuesday, trades निकल के नहीं आएंगे because of range expansion. So maybe we will start getting good trades towards the latter half of next week. Okay? We'll keep this back of our mind. Now that we are done with the weekly analysis of the indices, let's now take a look at your doubts, questions and the suggestions of stocks which are there on your watch list.